Welcome to Pretend Shopping with Melissa. Today we're decorating my fireplace for Halloween. I do my fireplace in white and orange, kind of fall Halloween vibes. I have other parts of my house that I do in traditional Halloween, like kind of scary and blacks and purples, but I have a few places that I like to do more of like autumn vibes. So that's the fireplace today, just so you know what you're getting yourself in for. And I also wore a Halloween themed outfit, which I'm pretty damn proud of. Let me show you. So I got all of this outfit from charity shops. It's all secondhand. I got the jumper for taking the kids to the pumpkin patch at the end of the month because isn't this literally made for the pumpkin patch? It's an identical match to the pumpkin colour. I had bought it thinking that it would button all the way down and then I could tuck it into my skirt, but then when I put it on this morning I realised that it doesn't button, it just kind of hangs. So it's still cute, I still like it, and I'll wear it the rest of the winter as well. I won't just keep it for Halloween because I love me a warm jumper. And then it's just a little black corduroy skirt, which is super adorable. The slippers are not part of the outfit, it's just cold in here. And I even matched my jewellery to the Halloween theme. This is my Walking Dead necklace. Can I show you? So we are set to go for Halloween decorating today. So decorating for the holidays in my house serves two purposes. Number one, it's super fun and super cute. I love it. And number two, it prompts me to clean places that can sometimes be a little bit neglected. I also cleaned the mirror and I dusted the ceiling above the fireplace and things, and cleaned all the kids' fingerprints off the fireplace. And the mirror, why are they always touching it? I don't know. But I cleaned it all and I really should clean it more often. I know I should. It's just an easy thing to forget. But in the winter time in my house, it is the most festive time of the year and the cleanest time of the year, because before I put up the Halloween decorations and the Christmas decorations, all those areas get a deep clean. So come to my house in the winter time, not the summertime. But in the summertime, you're outside enjoying the garden and the sunshine. So you're not inside noticing all the cobwebs quite as much. So that's going to be my excuse. My first little decoration that I'm adding is this autumn garland. I actually have about 5 or 6 of these because I got them last year from Tesco, maybe a day or two before Halloween, so they were on sale and I think they were maybe like £6 or £7, and that was so worth it. They're so awesome, really great quality. They have little foam pumpkins and berries. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. I have one here and then I use the rest of them on my front porch for that display. But the reason I love this one in the living room is it has touches of green, which it just pops off with the walls, doesn't it? I think it looks great. And next I'm adding lights to the fireplace before I add the Halloween decorations, because last year I decorated the mantle and then I had the decorations up for about a week. I thought it was really beautiful, and then it occurred to me it could be even more beautiful if I added lights, because lights make everything more magical. I'm obsessed with lights. I would have every square inch of my house covered in lights if I could. But it meant I had to take off all the Halloween decorations, add the lights, and then put the Halloween decorations back on again. So I was quite proud of myself this year that I remembered to add the lights first. And I used these big chunky candlesticks because they're quite heavy. I used them to anchor the lights and keep them in place. I added back all my candlesticks. I have these candles on display on my fireplace all year round in the living room, and I had considered switching them out this year and having Halloween lanterns instead. But in the end, I went with the candlesticks because, as I said, I like to do the living room Halloween theme, orange, white, and little touches of black. So the candlesticks went well with the theme, and candlelight goes great with anything Halloween themed, doesn't it? So maybe next year I'll consider upgrading them to lanterns, but for this year I'm sticking with the candlesticks. My decorating style for the fireplace is to have lots of little things all bunched together. And a lot of the things I use are from places like the Pound Shop or B&M, maybe Tesco or Asda. When they go on sale, I'll get lots of little tiny pieces. This skull that you see in my hands was my number one Halloween bargain buy. I got it in B&M a week after Halloween a few years ago, and it was the skull and two skeleton arms. They come on stakes. You'll see them later in the video, but they're for putting in your garden, and you can stick them into the soil so the arms stick up in the air, you know? But I got them in B&M, I kid you not, for 10p for the set. So it's 10p for the skull and two skeleton arms, which you cannot beat that, no way. I think I ended up getting about 6 sets, and again I use them all throughout the house. Some in the kitchen, on the front porch, on the fireplace. And these Halloween best costume trophies I got last year in Tesco. I got 2, one for each of my kids. And now I use them as part of my display because I think they're so awesome. It's a skeleton holding his own skull. It's adorable. And I think it is nice to add that little touch of gold mixed in with the orange and the white. I didn't see them this year in Tesco, not in our Tesco, but I did see them on eBay if you're interested in getting some of them. You're going to notice now in the video that I put out the decorations and then I take them down, move them around, take them down, move them around again. And I'll be honest with you, I for a long time would get really frustrated with myself for doing this because it seemed like it took me a long time to put out just a few decorations, and I was comparing myself with seeing other people online doing their decorations, especially on platforms like TikTok where it's shorter videos, and the people decorating in 1 or 2 minutes, they seem so decisive. They can just choose a spot, put their decoration there, and they're happy with it. It looks great. And I would do it and then think, no, that doesn't quite look right, or I think it would look better like this. And like I said, I would get frustrated with myself and think I'm not naturally good at decorating, or I'm wasting a lot of time doing this. And it was only probably in the past 2 or 3 years that I reflected on it, and I realized that putting things up and then changing it and moving things around over and over again, that's part of the process of decorating that I really enjoy. So instead of beating myself up and thinking other people are doing this much quicker than me or they're better at than me, instead I set aside a good amount of time. I don't rush myself. These past few years, I'll say to myself, okay, I'm going to give myself this whole evening to decorate the fireplace, and I'm going to take my time and I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to compare it to anyone else's decorations or compare how quickly they did theirs and how long it took me, because, you know, as you get older, you realize comparison really is the thief of joy. So I don't let myself get into those thoughts anymore. Now I just take my sweet time and I have a blast. Every year I like to add a couple of new pieces to my Halloween collection, and this year one of my new pieces was this light up boo sign. I got it in Home Bargains. It was $7.99, which I think is super reasonable for how awesome it looks, and it set off everything perfectly because I had a lot of white decorations, as you can see, and I realized I needed more orange and I needed a little bit more black. So when I saw the boo in Home Bargains, I thought, yeah, that is absolutely perfect. And it lights up. So you can't get any better than that. And I love it. I think it's amazing. I actually might get another one for my front porch. So I was finally happy with the mantle, and I moved my attention to the hearth of the fireplace. I like to use a variety of pumpkins, so I have some fabric ones, some foam ones, and some real pumpkins. And I talked about these pumpkins in my Sunday reset last week. I got these guys in Asda, and they were only like £1.60 each, but they labelled them as their large pumpkins, which to me these are the small pumpkins, but okay. okay? They'll still do the job. And I had wanted to get some white ones and some black ones to add as well, but I haven't been able to find any yet. But when I do find some, I'll add those as well. Next, I started adding these cushion pumpkins that I made myself last year. I got the blankets and scarves from different charity shops, super cheap, and I got a duvet, the inside of a blanket in a charity shop as well, really cheap. And then I just cut them all up. I'll see if I can dig up the video. I think I made a short last year on how I did it, and I'll upload it here on YouTube. But they were super easy to make, and then to make them different from each other, some of them I made the stork on top out of a twig, and then some I used pine cone, and then some rope. I love them. I think they're so awesome. This orange one right here was an old scarf that I cut up. I think I ended up getting 2 or 3 pumpkins out of one scarf. So it goes really far. And I just love the different textures, the different colors. And it was so much more cost effective to make my own than to buy the pumpkin cushions in the shops. I think I ended up with probably around 10 pumpkin cushions altogether. Some I display here, some I display on my porch, but it would cost a fraction of compared to if I bought it in the shop. It was so much cheaper making it myself, and it was more fun. So instead of just having all pumpkins, I added a few other little pieces like this candlestick holder. I got this in TK Maxx probably 10, 12 years ago. It is ceramic, so you have to be careful with it, but it's the snake wrapped around the goblet. I think it's gorgeous, and it's a little touch of gold as well mixed in with the white and the orange, which is lovely. And I also added some skulls, and these were the skeleton arms on stakes that I was telling you about earlier. They come in super handy just to add little bits here and there. And then finally, I added some little small foam pumpkins and little fabric pumpkins. I think most of these came from AliExpress or maybe the Pound Shop, but it's cute to have all the different sizes, colors, and textures. That's what I love about all the different pumpkins here. And then of course I added the lights over the top of the pumpkins on the hearth as well. And now I'm going to add my little DIY ghost that I made last year. Do you guys remember last year or the year before it started trending online? People used tomato cages and styrofoam balls to make a ghost shape for their Halloween decorations. Well, I wanted to make one as well, but when you ordered the giant styrofoam ball, it was kind of expensive, and I figured there had to be a cheaper way. So this was my little dupe of that, and it cost £2. So I got a plastic mixing bowl from the Pound Shop, and I got a fence post from a builder's yard. It was £1. And then I literally just put a screw in through the bowl into the top of the post. And then I bought a blanket from the charity shop for £1, and I threw it across the top, and I added little eyes. So in total it cost £3. I'm using an old laundry basket as the base. I use this in a lot of my decorations. That's why it has moss on top from my Easter decorations. But you can also just use your old flower pots. If you have a flower pot in your garden and you're taking away all the flowers and the pot's just empty, use that as your base because you can just stick the fence post down into it. I think I made 3 or 4 different ghosts, and a lot of them go on my porch, but I love it because the blankets are all different. They're not just white sheets. This one here is like a more of a rustic feel, has like a tassel fringe on the bottom as well, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then I have other ghosts that are more of a white, and some have floral patterns on them. I think it is gorgeous. And this was another new piece that I added this year. It was also from Home Bargains, and if I remember right, it was $7.99 or $8.99. It's a broomstick, obviously, but it lights up as well, which I thought was totally awesome, and it's really good quality. So I thought for the price, it was awesome. I had planned on making my own broomsticks this year and adding lights to them, and then I saw this one, and because it was so cheap, I thought I'll get this one for inside. But me and Blossom are going to make our own broomsticks this year. I also have another broomstick, which I'll show you when I'm decorating my porch because it is insane. It is huge. I've never ever seen another one like it, how big it is. It's like an actual real witch's broomstick. I got it on eBay 13 years ago, and it's probably my favorite Halloween prop. But I kept telling myself every year I could probably make a duplicate of it, and then I kept putting it off. But this year is the year me and Blossom have decided we're making a broomstick stand. If you ever see those on Pinterest, you have like a plaque that says park your broom here, and then you have loads of different shaped broomsticks underneath. We want to make that, which I think would be absolutely adorable. But I think this one works perfectly here, and I tried to move the ghost blanket so it looks like the little ghost is holding the broomstick. What do you think? I think it's adorable. Lastly, on the fireplace, I used a little bit of sellotape to tape the wire from the lights to the side of the fireplace just so it wasn't as obvious and sticking out. And I kept it attached to the marble of the fireplace, not the wall, so it won't cause any damage. So the fireplace is looking beautiful. I haven't switched the lights on yet. I want to wait for the end and do a big reveal for the kids. But you'll see that I did swap out the two chunky candles, and instead I added pumpkins on top of the chunky candlesticks, which I think is amazing. I didn't do that last year, but I will be doing it from now on because I absolutely love it. Next, I'm moving on to my coffee table. I don't normally have Halloween decorations on the coffee table, so this was my first year doing it, but I had a few little pieces that I've collected that I think will look perfect for the coffee table. So I took away what I did have. I did want to keep the books. Me and Blossom had planned to paint old books and make them look like potion books, but we haven't done that craft yet. So maybe next week when we do it, I'll add some potion books to this display. But for now, this will have to do. First, I added this glass pumpkin jar. This is also from Home Bargains, but I think maybe last year or the year before. Me and the kids filled it up with pine cones we found when we were out on walks, and just some pretend fir tree pieces, which I think is super cute, and it's more autumn than Halloween themed. And next, this is adorable. I'm obsessed with this guy, okay? I got him in a charity shop, I think 2 years ago, but I've never displayed him because Andy and the kids say he's creepy and haunted. He has a wooden face, but his ears have been nibbled by something and they're worn away, and he has little straw whiskers. And his little patchwork body, I think he's adorable. He has a beanbag base inside him so he can stay upright. I love him, I think he's gorgeous, but the kids really do not like him. They think he's really creepy. But I think he will be a perfect addition to this coffee table centerpiece. Next, I'm adding this crocheted pumpkin that my sister handmade for me. So, of course, I love it, but it's perfect for the centerpiece as well because it's bringing that pop of orange. And to fill in any gaps that were left on the little black tray, I added some LED candles. So I think it's perfect and super spooky. You'll see in the background, I also have my Scaredy cat. I got him last year in B&M. He's covered in tinsel in the shape of a scarred cat, but I think he's gorgeous. I had actually bought him and originally planned to strip away the tinsel and wrap him in twine so he would go more with the aesthetic on my porch. But everybody loves him the way he is, so I've kept him this way for this year. And here we have it. This is how the Halloween decorations in the living room are looking in the daytime. Absolutely gorgeous, and I think it is the perfect amount of just little subtle touches. It's not too overwhelming, and it's totally the pumpkin fall vibes I was going for. I also brought in Hunter's bright orange throw from his bedroom. He normally has it in his room because his walls are orange, so it matches. And I asked him, can I borrow it for the living room? He said, sure, no problem. I did consider buying a fall themed blanket for the living room, but I thought it was a bit wasteful considering Hunter's is the exact color for the pumpkins, so it worked out perfectly. I'm in love with it. I am so happy with how it's all turned out. Would you like to see it in the dark? Because it gets even better. So there you have it, guys. That is my living room Halloween decorations all done. And don't worry, the fire and the few candles that weren't LED candles, they will not normally be used. I just put them on for 1 minute to get the pictures that I wanted to create the wow factor. But they won't be used for the rest of the holidays. And my kids came home and they loved it. They thought it was great and super cozy. So that's all that matters. We're going to enjoy the decorations now and have a little family movie night with a Halloween movie. So everyone's very excited for that. And the decorations have perfectly set the scene. It's like we have our own Halloween themed cinema at the house, which is awesome. So thank you so much for coming along today. I hope it was fun and I hope it gave you some ideas on how you could decorate your mantle. In a few days time, I'm going to be decorating my front porch and I'll also be decorating my hallway. I have a life-size coffin that I use to decorate my hallway, so I'm really excited to style that this year. So I'll hopefully see you there. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.